Thank you, crime survivors, for everything that you do. Without your organization, we would not be able to deliver the benefits, results, and assistance to crime victims throughout Southern California and our great state. It's a wonderful organization that advocates each and every day for crime survivors and victims throughout California. We have partnered with them in 2017 on a resource booklet for victims of violent crimes. This gives victims of violent crime ready to use information about their rights under California law, common websites and phone numbers that they can reach out to, and also assistance with compensation, such as funeral and burial expenses, such as therapy and counseling costs. They have been a wonderful partner in the resource guide for violent crime victims. We also, on a weekly basis, participate with crime survivors as well as other crime victim and survivor organizations in a weekly roundtable. This is where nonprofits, crime survivors, and other community-based organizations knowledge share, exchange information, and really work together to strengthen and build awareness of the rights that crime victims are afforded under California and federal law. If we don't advocate for survivors and victims of crime, who will? It is essential. We have a moral and legal obligation to make sure each and every one of these victims is afforded their rights, is given an opportunity for recovery, for healing, and for assistance. We have to be their voices as district attorneys, as prosecutors. And that's why I think so highly of crime survivors, because they are out in the trenches each and every day advocating for victims of crime, giving them empowerment, giving them hope, and giving them an opportunity for recovery.
I've joined because I was obviously a victim of crime. My daughter was killed in 2019, and I connected with crime survivors in Patricia in about early 2020. The support and I guess guidance I've received has just been remarkable. You know, as a victim or as a survivor, we don't know who to turn to. You know, oftentimes, you know, we don't want to speak to our loved ones or friends or relatives about what we're feeling, or, you know, about, you know, the fact that we need help. And connecting with an organization like Crime Survivors helps the healing process go much smoother. You know, you connect with people whose situations, you know, are obviously different, maybe some similar, but just to be able to connect with somebody who, you know, again, unfortunately, knows your pain or knows your struggles, it's vital in the healing process. It really is. I, you know, have met a lot of people who have definitely inspired me and given me that hope. And I always say we have some great supporters who remind me of the good in people, kind strangers. It really helps keep my faith in humanity.
I think people think about law enforcement when they think about crime victims. But what happens when they finish with law enforcement after the initial situation? Where crime survivors, and Patricia too, are so important is they give people a safe place to go, get the resources they need to help put their life back together. And I know they talk about give them hope, healing, the ability to survive and thrive. Those are not just words. For Crime Survivor and Patricia Wentz-Kunis, they're really a mission. And it's not just, okay, you're injured or you're mentally damaged because of what happened. It's how do you get diapers for your baby because you had to escape maybe an abusive situation? Get food for your children, get a bed so that a crime victim, that maybe it's a child that was attacked in their bed, it gets a new bed so that they don't have to go back and sleep in the crime scene. The thoughtfulness that goes into that is incredible, that Patricia, because of her background as a crime victim, she gets it. She understands what crime victims need and goes above and beyond to do whatever is in her power to help them get their life back and a sense of security.
We met Patricia about 4.5 years ago, and we were introduced to her through the DA's office. The reason being, our daughter had been murdered, and we needed guidance. We didn't know where to turn, you know, where to go. They guided us to Patricia. She was very welcoming. sat down and spoke with us, told us about the Resource Center, what they do. We wholeheartedly believe that what she does is just unbelievable for the community. I only wish that more people knew about her and what she does. In our opinion, she's a saint. You know, she deserves a lot more credit than she gets. But I know that we will be lifelong friends with her. And I would just like to say that we think about her quite often. We pray for her and Crime Survivors organization. We really appreciate everything she does.
Almost 29 years ago, my 3-year-old child was murdered. And so I've been involved since that happened. And in 2009, I had to seek out because my daughter's murderer was up for parole. And I was shocked after a sentence of 25 years to life that it became 15 years and they're telling me we have a parole hearing. So I reached out to Patricia, and she was so kind and so open and so helping. And Marsy's Law just passed for victims' rights, and I knew I had rights for the parole hearing, and I just needed help to navigate the system. From the walk, we were able to get a lot of signatures for the petitions and just get a lot of support and a lot of advice from other people. And just having that support and being there and being among law enforcement, other survivors, people that were there giving the resources for therapy, all different things, because the PTSD came back, obviously, of having to go back after all these years, thinking, you know, I didn't think I was going to have a parole hearing in 15 years. I thought I had more time. So just that first impact, and there was no questions asked. It was just an open, here we are, we support all victims any way we can. And that's what I love about this organization. It doesn't matter how long ago the crime was. It doesn't matter what type of crime it is. Everyone is treated with such respect, love. They give faith, they give hope, they just inspire you. And that inspired me to give back to this organization, and why I've been involved for the last 15 years with them. From the dove releases, that means so much. And I even got a tattoo of a dove. I did a donation for the child resource room because I thought it was really important for children to have a safe, fun, open place to be able to heal and to get that help that Crime Survivors provides. I do not know how I would go through these years without the friendship, the support, the faith, the hope, and everything she encourages. The one thing that I love about Patricia with this organization, it is never an I, it's always a we. What can we do? How can we support you? I know my family has been blessed with you in our lives, and you will forever be in our lives. And we will support you personally and Crime Survivors to help every other victim moving forward. It takes one victim at a time and all of us together. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
My experience with Crime Survivors started from the very beginning on the planning stages of the organization. So I've known Patricia for about 19 years. It is extremely important to advocate for crime survivors, because when you're affected by any crime, you're kind of lost. Many people don't know the system, don't know how things work, don't know how to go on from that point, depending on for homicide victims, how do you move on? And to have an organization that stands and walks with you during the most difficult times in your life is crucial for your well-being down the line, for your success in trials and everything else. So being an advocate, it is extremely important for victims of crime. When my son was murdered, there was not one, I was assigned an advocate with the Superior Court, but I never saw her face. I was completely lost. I didn't know. I was grieving. I was still in a daze. I was trying to figure things out and understand what happened to my son. And it is very, very difficult when you don't have someone that stands up for you and walk alongside of you during such difficult time. So that's why I appreciate Patricia so much, because she gives 110% of her time to victims. And I can honestly say Crime Survivors is what it is today, thanks to her dedication, her compassion, integrity, and character that gave so much to this organization. There were so many times that she was being brought down, the pandemic most recently, and Patricia kept on fighting, kept pushing forward. I am extremely proud of her, and I'm honored to call her my friend.
I can't stress enough the importance of an organization such as this, because not a lot of people know where to go or where to start. And having this organization that is just so welcoming and very educational it helps tremendously, especially for people that just don't know where to go. And this is just such a great resource. Patricia and the whole team is just very welcoming, and you're very safe. You'll feel very safe with them. My personal experience with Crime Survivors has been really great. Patricia is just so amazing, welcoming, and her story is just so inspiring. I truly admire her strength, her resilience, and just her heart to connect with other people given her experience. So with that said, I wanted to really connect with her and work with her as far as raising awareness about abuse. And I am a narcissistic abuse survivor myself, and just working together is really important to raise that awareness, to help and offer that support to other survivors as well and their families. I just want to say, Patricia, you are one of the strongest women I know, and you're so amazing. I just love your energy and your heart and your desire to help others, and using your experience for the good and using your voice for the good. And I just really commend you, and I really love you for that. So thank you.
They have been extremely supportive in giving me resources to the community if I needed them. They have helped me with basic needs like food and diapers. We had events last year for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and shows my family for both events. So my kids were able to go to Boomers twice and have a great time. And they passed out dinners and diapers and basic needs, and it couldn't have come at a better time. Patricia has emailed me over and over again to come to her office to pick up diapers, and at one point I had 4 children in diapers. She also had a brand new clothing giveaway, and I'm never able to afford brand new clothing for myself. So when I went there, I went crazy. I think I grabbed like 2 of everything. I didn't know how to act. They've just been extremely supportive and resourceful. A great resource for my family.
Good afternoon. My name is Kim Goldman. My brother Ron Goldman was murdered back in 1994, and I don't exactly remember the moment that I met Patricia, but she has been a part of my life for a very long time, and it has been an incredible friend and support. And I'm just so proud to be able to congratulate Patricia and all of the great work that she has been doing on behalf of victims and survivors for the last 19 years. Patricia, I have followed your story of triumph and resiliency and courage, and your ongoing commitment and dedication to victims and survivors and families and those left to pick up the pieces. And I'm so proud of how far you've come and how hard you fight, and how deeply you love and care and support. It's obviously so important that crime survivors and victims of violent crime, or victims of any crime, speak out and make sure that their voice is heard, and make sure that we are always part of the conversation. And you do a great job of making sure that we are always at the table, we are always represented, and always seen in the best possible light.
Hello, my name is Lynn Hackman, and my brother Walter B. Hackman Jr. was murdered in 1989 at the age of 23. And since that time, my family and myself have worked to keep the murderer behind bars, and thankfully to date, we've been successful. But with the edicts of the Los Angeles District Attorney George Gascon over the last few years, keeping a psychopathic killer in prison has become very difficult. And that's where, for us, crime survivors came into play. And Patricia and her team, thankfully, were there for us when we needed them. We were coming up a few years ago on a parole hearing, and Patricia helped me, walk me through a lot of the law, particularly Marcy's Law. She put me in touch with some very important people over at the Crime Victims Assistance Network, ICANN, who were incredible, as well as a prominent victim rights attorney and others who helped us to get through the process, the parole hearing process. Whenever my parents or I had questions, Crime Survivors was there to help provide us with clarification in very muddy waters. All I can say is having these resources available to us at a very difficult time, it made all the difference. Thank you, Crime Survivors. Thank you, Patricia, for all that you do. You do so much to help be a voice for the voiceless, but you also are a voice for those of us who still have a voice, but need a little support in standing up for our loved ones and other victims of crime. So thank you, and thank you to all of your supporters as well.
Patricia has turned her hurt into hope, and she's full of grace and love and compassion. At the end of the day, she's there for anybody who, picks up the phone and asks for help. She's there answering the phones. She's there, packing up, goodie bags, swag bags, putting packages together for kids, for families who need diapers and food. This lady, I've never seen a more dedicated woman who has turned her tragic story into something so hopeful. And I can't even imagine how many people she has helped and served over the past 19 years. Just keep going and keep doing what you're doing for all victims of crime. You are appreciated, and my heart just loves you, and I'm so proud of you.